What started as a simple rumor online of a potential vice president making love to a couch has uncovered shocking truths. Eyewitness testimonies.
Sofa-fueled bonfires in his backyard.
Victims coming forward.
He would walk behind me and start caressing my cushions.
And an obsession of couches that will shake your core. My name is Spoons, and this is a Spoonsline BBC investigative report.
We now have to talk about J.D. Vance allegedly having with a couch.
You're going to accuse someone of having sex with a couch? You better have video.
What do people think about the GOP ticket this year? Well, it's obvious. Everybody thinks they're kind of weird.
J.D. Vance is weird in this creepy way that you want him to be away from you.
You know it, you feel it. These guys are creepy and yes, just weird as hell. That's what you see. That's what you see.
It's considered a fetish when we need an inanimate object like a sofa cushion or a spoon.
That is if he's willing to get off the couch and show up. So.
I would call her up here to come and speak, but then I think I'd have to sleep on the couch tonight.
James David Vance, Donald Trump's vice presidential pick for the 2024 election, grew up in Middletown, Ohio, alongside his wife and 3 kids. A historied politician, J.D. Vance was elected as Senator of Ohio in 2022, but it wasn't all sunshine and roses. Following his election, he proposed bills such as the button-up plaid short-sleeve shirts and khaki shorts past the kneecaps Act in 2022, and of course, the Eyeliners for Dudes 2 Act of 2023. And most notably, the couch cushions are just giant pussies if you think about it Act of 2024. Although JD worked day and night drafting these bills, almost every one of them was immediately thrown out in the House, citing one representative who said, quote, "We don't know what's wrong with this guy. We really don't know how he got elected. The eyeliner creeps me out, his face is annoying, and he's always reading Couch Weekly. Weird guy." Some would say that's a rough start to his career as a politician, but it's only the beginning. His life in Ohio was a humble one, wife and kids in a small town with a white picket fence and a large sectional, as described in his New York Times best-selling book, Hillbilly Elegy. It's a white trash memoir about shotgunning Mountain Dews at family barbecues and riding in the truck with your windows down listening to Papa Roach. What seemed like a normal book on the outside raised some questions for us here at Spoonsline BBC, and for us, those questions needed answers. We decided to dig deeper into his book to see what we could find, to see if there were any clues that would substantiate these rumors, and we could not believe what we found hiding in plain sight. These are just a few of those excerpts, and beware, this content is graphic. The opening line of the book reads as follows. "Me lovey couchy, poo poo pee pee on couchy makes JD excitey." JD is not shy about his love for couches. In fact, he is quite excited. We can see it written in plain texty. He expands further. "When JD see couchy, JD says yippee and makes tiny peepees in me trousies." JD soils his trousies at the mere sight of a couchy, and he thought we wouldn't find out. Ouchie. "Sometimes I like to into a couch to the point where the separates from the and the top of my disappears into and when the TV antenna case of hot dogs funneling Mountain Dew into my and that really is a hillbilly workout. That sounds exhausting. I was sweating just reading it. But what if it's fiction? What if these are mere fantasies of a horny man? Certainly an excerpt from his book is confession enough, yes? What are the odds that this is all true? Studies have found that 50% of men who drink Mountain Dew are prone to fucking couches. Studies have also found that 50% of men who wear eyeliner are also prone to fucking couches. Which means, based on studies, the odds of J.D. Vance fucking a couch are 100%. But studies are just studies, and here at Spoonsline BBC, we wanted to be absolutely sure. If there's a paper trail of abused couches, certainly he would slip up, and we would find it. So we dug even deeper into the question of a possible 4th missing child. J.D. Vance is on a press run to advocate for presidency of King Oompa Loompa, and he sat down with Dana Bash Bros to discuss key policies for their presidential run. But that shit's boring. Fortunately for us, we found a hint at something more sinister in these boring fucking interviews.
After our second child was born, my wife and I, we have 3 little kids. After our second child was born, we get the baby home from the hospital. We get this ridiculous out-of-network medical bill that is financially shocking, and we're pretty well off.
Ridiculous medical bills? For a routine pregnancy, there was nothing routine about it. We talked to a doctor at the hospital who helped deliver J.D. Vance's alleged 4th child. He stated that these claims of expensive medical bills were true, but only because they didn't have the proper equipment to deliver a lazy boy love seat.
When I looked inside, I didn't see a human baby. I saw a lazy boy love seat. I'd never delivered a love seat before in my whole career as a doctor. It didn't make sense. I couldn't tell the foot of the love seat from the armrest. I wasn't sure where the head was at all. I mean, normal childbirths are pretty standard. This was something we had never seen before. And I pray that I never have to deliver a love seat in my entire life ever again.
A charged, emotional testimony from a battered doctor. But how did the couch get in there? Why was his wife giving birth to a couch? Wouldn't the couch have to bang her? The doctor had some theories of his own.
And I think that if you put a little bit of fabric on the head, and then you put that in there, the DNA between couch and human could mesh together, creating a couch human.
Couch humans. A demented Cronenberg science experiment concocted by a horny couch lover. But why have we never seen these offspring? Is JD secretly hiding a Mormon-level family of couch children, cooped up in a moldy basement somewhere and only given hot dogs and Busch Light to survive off of? Through months of hard research, we've only been able to find one blurry photo of JD with his alleged 4th couch child. So what happened to the rest? Where is this army of couches he's raised? Where are they now? And what about the couches he's pumped and dumped? Left to raise their own baby couches alone on the curb? Some might find these next clips hard to watch. Young couches, unable to live out their purpose of being sat on, set ablaze in the streets for the public to watch, and a cruel execution online for millions to view, erasing any evidence of his perverse fetish at the cost of precious lives. Buried deep in the couch cushions are just giant pussies if you think about it act of 2024, JD had an interesting proposal, especially considering his political alignment. I propose that no woman should have to carry a couch to term if she so chooses. It's her couch, her choice. It's immoral and unjust, and frankly, impossible. I don't know how my wife does it. What a trooper. A strange stance to take from a Republican candidate. While most Republicans are vehemently pro-life, J.D. Vance is decidedly pro-choice when it comes to couch births. A sign of remorse from a man who's already murdered millions. A man who couldn't control his urges and resorted to violence to finish the job. At least, that's what we thought. We estimate that JD has had sex with 1,200 couches, each one of them being able to carry a baby couch to term. Assuming all of those couches had their babies, this would make JD one very rich man.
Tell me specifically what you want to do to expand the child care tax credit, because it's like $2,000 per kid right now.
Well, I think one of the things you can do is make it bigger per child. I think we'd love to see it at a higher dollar value. And again, President Trump and I have proposed that. I mean, look, I'd love to see a child tax credit that's $5,000 per child.
From rags to riches, from fabric to flush, that's $6 million of cold hard cash right into J.D. Vance's pockets. It doesn't matter how many couches he's soiled and stained, it's all to make a quick buck. While we here at Spoon's Line BBC are very proud of the hard work our team has done to find this evidence and the research hours they put in, some could find this evidence to be construed as speculative. Passages from a book and pictures with a couch might not be the smoking gun that some people are looking for. So we searched for a primary source, and we were able to get in touch with J.D. Vance's former neighbor, Chris James. Chris lived right next to J.D. for years. They were once buddies until a shocking discovery by Chris sent him packing across state. He agreed to be interviewed for this program. He told us he had a lot to say and was willing to speak about J.D. and his twisted fantasies. Hello, Chris. Welcome, and thank you for taking the time out of your day to talk about your experience with J.D. Vance. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks for asking.
Great, I'm glad to hear it. So, for starters, how long have you known J.D. Vance, and for how long were you his neighbor?
Well, I've known him since he moved in first next door, so maybe 2-3 years.
That's a long time to get to know a guy. Now, in those 3 years, when did you notice something was off with J.D. Vance?
At first I didn't, but then I started to notice a lot of Ashley Furniture Home Store delivery trucks showing up most weekends.
That is strange, right? A normal guy would only need a new couch every so often. Did something tip you off that he was doing anything with these couches? Maybe he had some weird relationship with them.
To be honest, that wasn't my first thought, but then I started noticing a lot of sofa-fueled bonfires in his backyard.
Unfortunately, JD is known to do this with couches. This is very common. Once you found out that JD was doing this to these couches, were you ever concerned that your couch would be next?
Well, not at first, but then the wife and I had him over for dinner a few times, and by the second or third time of him suggesting we eat in the living room, I started putting plastic on my couch, and that's probably where the concern started.
I'm sorry, that is awkward. And now right after this, you and your family picked up and moved halfway across the country. What happened?
You know, I'm trying to think of a reason that's not him having sex with my couch, but if I'm being honest, I'm blanking on anything else. That was a lot of it.
Now, from what I know, you and JD were pretty close. Have you heard from him since you guys moved?
Closer than I'd like to admit looking back, but no, I haven't heard from him. I think he's honestly got a lot on his plate right now.
Well, Chris, thank you for your time. It was great having you here.
Of course, anytime.
We were going to end our research here, as we had felt that we had left no stone unturned. The book, the interviews, the neighbor. To us, this was an open and shut case. One more person reached out to us, and it was one of J.D. Vance's victims. We sat down for an interview with them. We have distorted their voice as they wish to remain anonymous. Now, I know this is hard for you to talk about, and we really appreciate you being here to tell your story. So please, take your time, go as slow as you like. Tell the world about that day you had with J.D. Vance.
Okay, yeah. I'll start from the beginning. It was a sunny afternoon in July. It was a trash day, and my owners had thrown me onto the curb. Trash days are on Sundays where we live, and every Sunday after church, JD likes to go around scouting for couches to bring back to his garage. He'll drive around until he finds what he calls the perfect cushion. He likes a certain softness in his couches, I guess. And eventually he found me on the side of the road. He said I was just his type. He put me in his trunk, brought me home, and dragged me into his garage, piece by piece. Jeff had told me about JD and what he does, but I wasn't ready for what was about to happen. At first, he took off his sunglasses and was just staring at me, licking his lips. I knew what that face meant, and I was scared. He opened up a Diet Mountain Dew and started pouring it all over my body. He completely drenched me in it, and when he was done, he hit me in the face with the bottle. He walked behind me and started caressing my cushions and running his fingers along me. It started off gentle, as most of these things do, and then things started to get more aggressive. I'm sorry.
No, please, it's okay. We can stop whenever you want. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay. Whenever you're ready, What happened next?
He jumped on top of me, which really hurt. And then something he likes to do is pretend he lost something in between my cushions. He kept putting his hand in every one of my crevices, saying things like, "Oh, I can't find my keys, where did my wallet go?" Fitting his hand wherever he could, aggressively shoving his hand deep in between me. This went on for a while, and after that, he covered himself with me. He liked to suffocate himself with my body. He did this for hours, shoving me between his legs, smothering himself until he couldn't breathe, coming up for air and going back in. He would grab me all over, squeeze all my cushions, and make the Adirondack chair watch. It was awful. I tried to look away, but I couldn't because I'm a chair. JD had his mood swings. At times it would get sensual. He would kiss me gently like he cared, and press himself onto me. But then, as usual, it would start to get more aggressive again. He would hit me over and over, punch my cushions, throw them off a couch. You know, a couch can only take so much before our seams begin to rip and mine were starting to pop. At one point, he found the empty Mountain Dew bottle and started putting that in between me where I didn't think a Mountain Dew bottle could fit. Just as he started to do this, all of a sudden, we heard his wife's car pull up. He took a look outside to make sure it was her, and when he realized what happened, he began to scramble to put me back together and get himself together before she noticed what was going on in there. She opened the garage and told JD to put me back on the curb because she said they didn't need another gross couch. And I believe that's the only reason I am here today.
I can't imagine what that must have been like, and I can't imagine how hard this must have been for you to tell your story on national YouTube. So thank you for taking time out of your day to share this with us. You're giving couches all around the world a voice.
You're welcome.
Well, there's not much left to be said after that. A vice president who likes to fuck couches? Fucking gross. That concludes this Spoons Line BBC investigative report. My name is Spoons. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Bye!
Flesh and bone, ration of pimento loaf. Jenna setting gold, I'd rather live on bread alone. Fishy underhanded credit loan to keep your head afloat. And that could be a tennis match in your temporal lobe. Headlock, hedge fund, chosen the pretzel fold.